This is our 2022 Rockwood Mini-Lite 2509S bunkhouse. Today we're going to diagnose, troubleshoot, and repair the front power stabilizers that are retracting, but not extending, but not wanting to retract. In summary, this switch in the front was the switch that was bad. We replaced it, tested it, works great. We also went back here and replaced the rear switch because the original switch and the new switch are opposites. Retract on the top on the old switch and extend on the top in the new switch. So I want them to be consistent, so I replaced them both. This one is going to become a spare, and I believe I can flip this switch upside down if I wanted to, but it's just going to be a spare for emergency use only. Alright, today we have a set of Lippert PSx2 power stabilizers in the front. I've had problems with these going down before, and they were just kind of binded because I had wrenched them down on a little bit uneven surface, and the offset in pressure ended up causing them to kind of get locked up. So all I had to do was use the manual jack, disconnect the power in the switch above, and use the manual jack to crank them up a little bit, and then the switch worked fine. This last trip, the switch didn't respond to that, so I suspect it's the switch. So let's take a look at how we troubleshoot that. So this is the PSx2 switch. You can see retract is up, extend is down. So when I extend, I'm getting extension, but when I try to retract, I'm getting nothing. And you'll notice when I extend, the switch has a different sound and feel. Clicks a little bit, but then it kind of sticks and it won't go again until I release it. Even now it's not working. So this switch is funky as funky gets. So we're gonna check the wiring next. Okay, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is remove the power from the battery. This is the positive, this is the negative. I'm going to remove that from the switch, and then we're just going to use a continuity tester to see if we get current through the outputs of this switch. So I've disconnected the switch to make these blades easy to access with the continuity tester. Also shut off the battery. So you could leave them connected, but it makes it a little bit tougher trying to do this with one hand. So let's check continuity. Okay, so my multimeter cables are plugged into voltage and common, and I have it set to continuity. OL indicates there is no continuity, open line. And what I have left on these switches are the purple wire, which is the positive output to the motors, and the white wire, which is the negative output to the two motors. So you can tell those because they're wired up to two other wires. And so all I'm going to do is put continuity into these other blades and test various conditions to see if we have continuity. Okay, so you can see I have the continuity set up between the positive output for the motor and the negative for the input from the switch. Let's hit the retract button. Retract, we have no continuity. Now let's hit the extend button. And for extend, we have continuity. And you can run the exact same test with the positive post to the motor and flip it negative post to negative, positive to negative. So there's 4 different tests you can do. I've done all 4. All 4 have no continuity for retract. So that means my stabilizers aren't coming up because of this switch. So let's replace it. So I ordered these 2 switches. I ordered a pair of these switches on Amazon. You'll notice that on the top it says extend, the bottom says retract. On the factory ones, they're the opposite. Retract is up, extend is down. So I'm going to replace both my switches so that they're consistent, and I'll keep the good one as a spare. So now let's disassemble the switch. Alright, so all the wires are disconnected. Before I check this one in the garbage, I'll show you a couple things. One is this one has a removable switch piece here, so you could keep the trim plate. And so you could probably just order this switch and replace it in the trim plate. But these switches were about 28 bucks, and these two new switches were 30, so I'm going to give them a shot and see where we go. Also, even though the extend is working, it is a little sketch. You'll see it kind of sticking a little bit. So if you push it and hold it the first time all the way to extend, you're good, but if you let go and try to use it, you have to reset it, kind of. So this just has to go in general. The new switch almost looks identical. It's a one-piece model, and the wires are different color. I've already done all the testing, so this has a nice schematic on the side with wire colors and purpose. Blue is motor plus, yellow's motor minus. So blue's going to go to blue, and yellow's going to go to the motor white, and then battery's black, and that's the power white supply wire, and battery plus is red. That's going to be the orange battery plus supply wire right here on the trailer harness. So I'll wire those up and we'll give it a test. So before we engage the switch to test it, let's make sure everything's connected correctly. The black wire from the switch should go to the battery minus, which is the heavy single white wire here. Black from the switch, the single heavy white wire, that's the negative supply. Red is battery plus, and that should go to what was the orange wire, which is the battery plus right here. And then motor positive was blue, so blue goes to purple with a white stripe in this case. And then the last one is, where is it? Right here, the yellow. So the yellow goes up to the motor negative here. Yellow is motor negative. So they're hooked up. Let's see what happens. So we're gonna hit extend, and the jacks are extending nicely. I can let go and re-engage it. Feels exactly like the factory switch did. So they're gonna go all the way down, touch the concrete. I'm gonna let them touch. There they are. All right, now the big test, because what wasn't working was retract. So I'm going to retract them now. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to, I might replace these connectors, or I might just wrap them up. I might have some shrink wrap, but I'm going to finish them up, and then I'm going to tuck them away, and we'll quickly replace the other switch just for fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off these male spades that are not insulated, and I'm going to replace them with these blue insulated spades. There's one. There's two. There's number 3. Always make sure you do a tug test after to make sure, tug it, make sure it's snug. That one's good to go. Okay, all connected, and I like to do one more thing. So I always wrap these with electrical tape just to be safe, and then wire tie this all into a nice tidy bundle so that it just slips right back where it came from. And just need to put the switches in. One other hack you might run into, this hole's a little stripped out. The screw doesn't bite anymore, so I'm going to take one of those zip tie remnants that I cut out. I'll cut it nice and tight there and use that as a shim for that screw. Alright, we're done cosmetically. I'll get a little bit of black nail polish, touch up these screw heads, make sure these are nice and tight so that the foam weather stripping that's part of the back assembly seals up nicely, keeps water out. I'm going to turn on the power. And let's just give them one last extend. Extend. There we go. And retract. All right, we're all all good to go. We're going to go do the other switch because I want them to match. That should take about maybe 2 to 5 minutes and it'll be done. So we're going to do a real quick high-speed video of replacing the second switch. These are all the tools you need for this job. You're going to need the multimeter for testing and troubleshooting, new switch. For this particular switch, you're going to need 4 male insulated quick disconnects. You're going to need some electrical tape, a cutter crimper, a screwdriver, and some black ties. And it's about 100 degrees out right now, so water. Let's go. So as I fear, my phone actually overheated and shut down at the end, but all I had left was to put the wires in, put in the 4 screws, and test. Here's extend. And there is retract. So that probably took about 5 minutes. Just one other thing, if for some reason replacing the switch you find that's not the issue, you can also go over to the in the front of the trailer. There is a underneath in the A-frame there's 2 circuit breakers. I can show them to you if you want. I'll show them to you right now. Hang on. They are right over here. These are all circuit breakers for different things, and I believe that one of these, or maybe 2 of them, one controls each set of these of the PSx2s. So I think these are about $10. You can get these at an auto parts store. So if that doesn't fix your problem, you can check continuity between these, check voltage, see if you have 12 volts or not, and replace those pretty easily. So that wraps things up here on the Over the Hill Hikers YouTube page. Hope you found this useful.